believe I'm on. If that is, it's a lot easier than it used to be. Excuse me while I just click on something I need to do. I need to do this because if I don't, I'm not sure what's occurring. And the one thing I don't like doing is not knowing what's occurring. So let's go, let's see what I can do on here. That's where I'm going, and I'm just keeping an eye on that. And it should be something happening. Yes, I'm there. Wow. That's amazing. There's a bit of latency, but not enough to worry about. And I have audio. So, well, what am I going to talk about? If you've seen the description, you'll know that it says that I'm going to talk about, sorry, if you've seen the description, you'll know it says I'm going to talk about the video I just launched, which was yesterday, and it was, there's another one on Azimuth. Then every time I go onto the Facebook or anything similar to that, there is somebody saying, I've just bought a new deck and it's doing this, and the first thing everybody says is, twiddle the azimuth, it's got to be the azimuth. And then people say, I've got an old deck and it's, and they say, adjust the azimuth, and adjust the azimuth. And then they say, oh, well, maybe it's not that, because somebody will come back and say, well, I did that and it didn't work. Well, why didn't it work? Well, simple, because that wasn't what the problem was. Or they have misunderstood. So, on this video, which I've spent a lot of time making, you wouldn't believe how long it takes to make a 4.5, nearly 5 minute video. It took, let me point the speaker at me. It actually took, it's not a speaker, it's a microphone. I can tell you, it took about 4 days of researching, getting the graphics, getting everything sorted, getting it in the right place, updating stuff, making sure it all made sense. You may say, well, I'm just trying to sort my shirt out. I like this shirt. This is not a good one for, yeah, okay, that'll do. It's not a good one for doing this, but never mind. It's the one I got on. Yeah, the amount of time it takes, you sort of think, well, I want a graphic of something like a, I don't know, a transport. So you find a graphic of a transport, and but it's not the one you want, so you've got to then make your own or whatever. So, or you've got to put labels on it and things. They all take so much time. It's amazing. If you use AI to generate the images, that's good. It can take a few seconds. Well, I tend to use Copilot mostly, and that can take. Well, it says, hang on, it might take a couple of minutes, but it could probably produce one that's no use. Or it could be exactly right, but you never know until you try, and that's this thing about you keep on trying. So at the end of the day, it all turns into a mess. But the main thing is to try and get the information correct. I do not like being wrong, as in, if I tell you something, what I'm telling you is true. Doesn't mean that there isn't another way of looking at it. Doesn't mean that I've got absolutely, I don't know everything, but if I'm telling you something, then if I say 1 + 1 = 2, then you've got a fair chance of believing it, because we all know it does. What I do like to do though is produce ones where 1 + 1 = should we say 2 on a good day, or maybe 3 or 4, depending on what you're doing with it. And that makes a good difference. So yeah, that's why some of mine are. I've watched a few. I'm not going to name any names. Well, I will name some names. People I watch. Recordology. I like Recordology. He does a good job. Who else do I watch? Big Clive. He's fantastic. He knows what he's doing. He talks well and he does a good job. Excuse my phone. And who else do I watch? I watch obviously TechMoan. Everybody watches TechMoan, and TechMoan is very good. He gets his stuff right, and if he doesn't, he says so. So if he'll say, well, I'm not sure about this, but, and go from there, which is good. I used to watch Datavix quite a bit, so he was normally very good. And Technology Connections. I find him to be excellent as well, certainly up there with the best of them. The people I haven't mentioned, I won't bother mentioning because they're not. Some of them are just on YouTube are just not worth mentioning. I found a few that are really irritating. I found a few that know nothing, but they say they do. And I'm sure if you've been hunting around, you'll know what I mean. But anyway, my videos, I try to make them interesting, but I try to keep them short. And it's not always it's not always possible to make a short, interesting video. Would you believe it's easier to make a long, interesting video than it is to make a short, interesting video, provided you can find somebody who's willing to give your long one a try. I mean, when I first started doing these, I used to put little cartoons and things, or not cartoons, words and things on the back, on the, sort of the backdrop, and it would say things like, two men went into a bar, and the barman said, why the long face? Turned out one of them was a horse. I mean, that sort of thing. Only they were funny because I got them from proper sources. And nobody ever took any notice of them. Never got any feedback on them. Stopped doing it. I've tried doing animations. Things hopping across or hopping back. I've tried doing all sorts of things to try and make them interesting. I should stop that phone doing that, shouldn't I? But never mind. I have tried most of the things that people say you should do. I've tried using music. Apparently that gives you longer watch time. Didn't. All I got was people saying, could you not use the music because I can't actually hear what you're saying? Which they'll be the same people will be moaning that I just said that quietly. Yeah, so they said, could you please stop not use the music because I can't hear what you're saying? I've had a few people who have commented that I don't speak clearly, and I've had a few people who say I've got a wonderful voice, and I've had a few people who, well, a lot of people who just don't say anything, so presumably they're happy. But what I have done is, since I started all this YouTubing stuff, is I've made sure that I speak properly, and that they've got automatic generated subtitles. I make sure that they work, and they do work 99% of the time quite accurately, although they might get the spellings wrong, but that's fine because I always get the spellings wrong on stuff like that, because spelling isn't my forte. When I went to school, they did English, and we did maths, and we did, well, whatever. I did engineering science, and I aced that, and I did human biology, I aced that, did English, got average on that, and I did maths, and I got average on that. But I didn't understand, well, I mean, I could do arithmetic, but I couldn't do maths. But when I then got involved with electronics, I had to do mathematics in a proper way. That was always interesting, pi r squared and all that sort of thing. Working out what sine waves and things are doing and stuff. That was always good. Enjoyed that. I'm pretty sure there's meant to be a way of seeing comments on here, but I can't. Let's see if there's any on here. Moderation helps everybody feel, isn't it? Right, learn more. No, I don't. No, I didn't want that. I didn't want that. I've got my output showing up on here on my laptop. I used to do this before. What I should ideally do is I should reduce down the thing from. I should reduce down the OBS stuff, and I should have the comments up on there, which would work. I haven't got any comments, so in fact, I've got 4 people watching. Hello, the 4 people who are watching. If you'd like to put some comments, I have the ability to read them, I think, and it'd be of interest, because Pardon me, I've got a bit of a frog in my throat. But I've been doing this course and it says the way to do things is to go vertical live. So guess what? It's ever so good because you can't see so much of the backdrop. And yeah, it's always been a bit of a problem. And yeah, it's quite good. So it says 5 watching now. Live to talk about, yeah, that's it. Live chat, join the conversation to interact with creator and others watching. It's live. So how do you do that then? Open panel. Ooh, excuse me, I'm looking down there. I'm not trying to be rude, but that's where I've got my laptop. And it says I've got, where in the UK am I? Right, well, in the UK, I'm in Buckinghamshire. And it says, so I've got, hello, I'm gonna try and do this on here. Excuse me a minute. This is my first one using, the reason I'm doing this is because I wanted to talk about my video, which I put up, but also because I wanted to get OBS working properly. And that appears to be. But now all I've got to do is try and sort out how to do the actual, the other bits. So if I get on there and I'll go on to, bear with, I'm still here. Get that up. I should be able to see what you guys are doing, see what you guys can see. To do the actual, the other bits. So if I get on there and I'll go on to, bear with, got to mute that, because that's no good otherwise, and shove that over there. Oh, that sort of works, I think. Aha, right, so it says here, top chat, top fans, goal, Laura. It's all new to me, so I do apologise. I've done, anybody who knows my channel knows that I did do, many years ago, well 2 years ago, I did a live every Wednesday at 8 o'clock GMT or BST, and yeah, we had a good time for about 14, 15 months. But now I'm here, and bucks is the answer to where I am at the UK, and so I say hello Lularo, and I'll say hello to Dinny Sixanti, and I'll say no longer in use. Hi. We've got 2 people watching now, that's a shame. I did have 5 at one point. So yeah. What I was trying to talk about was all the fuss I had to do to get my video up. Now I wonder if I can do anything on here about the video. So I can do screen capture. I don't know. It's one of these things where you got to play. Now they said what they said on the course was go and do it. Yeah, am I British? Yes. Is my accent a problem? Yeah, it's very difficult to type and think and whatever. Maybe Imran can say. So where does it come in? I don't know. Yes, so what I was trying to say was I need to try and get these things to work, and it says you can do it in private, but the trouble with private is you've got to have somebody at the other end, and I had me on my laptop, didn't work, so I thought, well, I'll try it on here, because I used to do it this way. I'd have my live actually going out on there, and I'd be doing this on here, and so Mick Punks. Yes, hi Mick Punks. Nice to see you here. And I was just explaining, really, this is the first proper vertical live I've tried, and yeah, seems to be working. I have the ability to chat, and I have the ability to see what's going on. We've got 3 people on now, and yeah, it's working. I would like to be able to do other stuff, like, for instance, bring up what's on screen. I'm pretty sure I've got the ability to do that somehow, but I don't know how. I'll have to play with that at another time, and yeah, go from there. The video, as I say, was about yes, the video was about doing the azimuth. One of the things that people always do is they say, "Why? You've got to change the azimuth. You've got to do this." No, for God's sake, do not just go. The screw is next to the head. By definition, all screws you shouldn't touch are hidden away, except for this one, because the head has to come forward to be able to operate on the tape. And what do kids do, and people with screwdrivers? They see a screw, they alter it, then they wonder why the tape doesn't sound right. And it's as simple as that. Just don't do it that way. So what I've been doing now, on that particular video, I'll tell you how to listen. Listen for what you want it to do, because if you play back a tape that you've recorded yourself, i.e. a few seconds ago, and it's muffled, it is not azimuth. It's anything but azimuth, because I'm looking at myself instead of, yeah, okay. It's anything but azimuth, for the simple reason that azimuth can only be wrong if what you're playing back, the head on what you're playing back, doesn't match the head that recorded it. So if you recorded it yourself, it's got to match, hasn't it? So if you've got muffled playback of tapes you've recorded yourself, it means that you've got a problem, not azimuth. Probably caps or dirt, or dirty caps even, no, dirt on the heads, or you've got some other sort of drifty problem. Maybe your tape path is being distorted by a bad pinch roller or something. If you go and alter the azimuth, you'll probably never get it right again, ever, unless you've got expensive equipment, so that's why you shouldn't do it. But everybody who says on these Facebook pages, oh, just alter the azimuth, they're all wrong. They are definitely wrong. And I will say that until I'm blue in the face, blue in the eyes. Look at that. Yeah, so what you have to do, quite simply, you put the tape in, you record on it, something nice and bright, something with lots of high frequencies, and then you play it back, and if it's played back and it sounds good, you know that's all right. Then you get a tape of a similar type, which is from a proper source, like, for instance, if you've just been playing big band music, play a big band music tape that you've got, put that tape in and play that. Now if that doesn't sound as bright and as clear as the recording that you did was, then there's a possibility your azimuth's out, which is where you then start looking. If, on the other hand, it plays back fine, it's good. But what a lot of people do is they say, oh, well, I just altered it because I thought it might be wrong, and then I'll put it back again. If you watch my video, you'll see why that is a bit of a daft thing to say. Part of the reason it took so long to make was because it was to get some of the graphics sorted out. And because the basic information I've just given you just then, it should have taken that long. However, if you look at this video, you'll find that it's actually, it was posted today, 17th, you'll find that it's actually got some information in there, which I'm not going to give you now because that's a spoiler, isn't it? So you can go and have a look at it. If you go and look at it, you'll find that it's got some information in there that actually puts it into context. Now, I didn't realise, I mean, hey, I've been doing this for 40 years. Well, I've been adjusting audio equipment, repairing TVs, hi-fis and all that sort of thing for about 40 years. 40? No, yeah. When I left school, 76, that's 50 years. 49 years. And, yeah, you can work it out. Told you maths wasn't my best subject. But I've been doing it all for these years, and I knew, for instance, that, did you know, the video track on a VHS is 49 microns wide. That's it. The actual bit on the spinning drum, the little tiny head that's rubbing itself around the videotape, makes a track 49 microns wide. If you go on to long play, which is in the UK and in Europe was the only other speed we had, obviously it goes down to 25 microns or thereabouts. But that's, you know, the size of a video track. When you're working on audio stuff, you don't tend to think of that because you've got 1/8" tape and you've got 1/8" tape, which is, you know, sort of, if we say 1/2 inch is that big, 1/4 inch is that big, 1/8", whatever. So we're working on 1/4 inch is what normal reel-to-reel is, so we're looking on tape that's only that big. It's big as a Mainsley. You know it because it's a cassette. I haven't got a cassette to hand. But anyway, so you got yourself a nice little bit of tape, and you cut that in half, and then you cut that half into halves. That's what you're talking about, but we're still talking big. So we're going 1/8, 16th, 32nd. I have a problem. I'll tell you a problem, interesting problem here. The Americans will, well, maybe they won't understand it, but they might know of it. McPunks. Yeah, the Americans won't understand it, but they might understand it. Because I'm old, by which I mean quite old, I was brought up in the imperial system. Now the Americans are going, "Ooh, imperial, know what that is?" Yeah, miles, yards, gallons, although our gallons are bigger. And we've got various other things in there like chains, furlongs and hectares and acres and all that sort of thing. Some of which transferred to American or some things. Some things got slightly distorted. We've got 20 ounces in our pint, and we've got, you've only got 16. But other than that, you know, they're near enough. They're near enough the same thing. A mile's a mile. And so that's fine. But when we're talking distances, see, I look at that and I think, oh yeah, that's about 3-4 mils. And then I think, well, that's about half. That bit there's an inch. So I know what an inch is because I use inches all the time, except that when I'm doing other things, I use centimetres. I measure things in metres, but I actually think in yards. When I'm driving down the road, the sat-nav says, in 2 miles, you can do something. And then it says, in 400 yards, you can do something. And then it all sort of says, no. Which is always fun. So when I'm thinking, I mean, I've got to put a shelf up, and I measure so I get a bit of 4" by 2" wood, and I make a brace out of it, and then I get a 15mm shelving plank and put it on. It's fun being multi-dimensional, for want of a better description. Yeah. That's where it is. I think that's where I got to. We've got 3 on there now. Ooh. Springtrap. Yeah, hello. Hi. Springtrap. Guess that's the way to do it. So, yeah. At the end of the day, it all adds up. So I'm trying to do this thing with the tape, and there's some interesting stuff on it. There's stuff you've never seen before. and stuff I'd never seen before. And this is where it comes in, you see. I'm used to dealing with microns and all that sort of thing, but when I was actually dealing with the azimuth, some of it was, well, I knew of it, but when you look at it a different way, and I think you'll be amazed, you'll find that it comes out totally different to what you think, although it's the same. Anyway, that was that. Let's see what I've got on here. Recordology, vidIQ, and Think Media. A few things on there. Might go and have a look at them later. Right, so we've got forwarding now. If you want questions for you. Number 3. What do you do, Uncle? Right. The question I will answer from Degeneration X with a rocket is I am a video and audio engineer expert, if you want tech. I've worked on stuff since I was years old. What's going here? Can you be quiet for a sec? I don't know, can I? I'm meant to be talking because that's what I'm meant to be on here doing. And I'm talking to 2 people now. Only 2 people. If anybody else wants to come on here and tell their friends and whatever, that'd be good. What I was wondering was, is there any point in scheduling these things? I mean, if I was to have a proper script, would anybody be interested? I could sit here and read. We could talk about things. If it had a proper thing, if we had a proper 2-way question and answers. All right, I've got 3 now. Right, so anybody on here just wants to say hello, say hi. And yeah, now I'm back to 2. You can send chats and super chats and all that sort of thing. Did you know you could do that? I think you can. Don't know where. Oh yeah, down the bottom it says chat. Show support with Gary, but keep it simple. Create a poll and send a thing like that. Let's see what happens if I do that. Oh, they're nice, aren't they? Nice to meet you too, sir, Mr. Degeneration X. And what's your interest in life? If you think my Wi-Fi is very poor, is it? That's because I think my wife's streaming as well. I will have to take your word for it. Supposedly, mind you, it's raining this end, and there are some various things that cause a problem. But yeah, I see what it says. OneDrive Personal Online. I'm actually, this is my first go, so it's I don't know whether OBS is doing its thing properly. It did say something about not having limits set, and so I don't exactly know what's occurring. Anyway, with that then, I will probably call it a day now, because I think you're the only one watching now, Degeneration X. But thank you for coming on. I do appreciate it, and I might start scheduling some lives if I can get the equipment sorted out. So thanks, and I will. With that, I will wind it up. But thank you very much.